What up, family? 5 a.m. A little after 5. And, part of what I want to talk about is this situation with Deion Sanders, Deion's son, who has been in the news lately surrounding the controversy behind him not getting drafted into the NFL after several rounds. I think he's drafted now. I think the Cleveland Browns ended up picking him up in the 5th round, I believe. And then they started talking about CFL, the Canadian Football League, was looking at picking him up. But what I want to say about this is, when you look at it, and I've seen a lot of commentary going on right now, and people are saying basically that this guy was too arrogant. He wasn't humble enough. They don't want a guy on their team that has that much arrogance about himself, right? And people don't want to see your greatness. Especially when you're cut from a certain cloth, if you know what I mean. They don't want you to have that kind of confidence that is required when you do a sport as dangerous as football. Playing football is very dangerous. I mean, you putting your life on the line every single day. You putting your body on the line every single day. And so, to me, you have to have a certain degree of arrogance. Maybe not even arrogance. You have to have a certain degree of confidence. Some people mistake confidence for arrogance, depending on who you are, depending on who you ask. And so they want to dim this young guy's light. They want him to turn down the brightness of his star. And I just thought it was a very excellent example of what I want to talk about today, because we see that every day in our own lives. Every day in our own lives. And it may not be the media. It may be a family member. It may be a friend. It may be a parent. It may be a spouse. It may be someone at your job. It may be your wife, your fiance, your so-called friend. And sometimes these are the people in your life who act like the media is acting right now towards Deion Sanders. They want you to turn down the brightness of your light. They want you to turn the contrast down on your confidence. They don't want to see you shining that bright. They don't want to see you pursuing greatness. And it's a shame, because out of all the years I've been on this earth, when I look back, and I don't have a fraction of the success that Deion Sanders has, but I've encountered this type of situation my entire life with the people that are closest to me. And you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised of the people you find out who really are not with you, even though they're with you. If that makes sense. Sometimes people get intimidated when they see you putting in the kind of work that they've never seen anybody else put into. And I'm just a regular guy. I mean, I say I'm a regular guy, but I'm regular in the sense that I'm not rich and famous. But I'm not regular in the sense that my mindset is different than that of a regular person, than that of a regular man or a woman. And that doesn't mean that I'm better than anybody. That doesn't mean that I'm not a humble person. But it does mean that if you're going to be around me, then I'm going to be having high level conversations that the average person may not be able to relate to. And I'm not saying, oh, I'm just so deep or anything like that. No, I'm just saying that I'm going to always be talking about moving towards greatness, getting better every single day. I'm going to always be talking about the vision for my life and putting in the work. And for the people that surround you, they're going to eventually get tired of not only you talking about putting in the work, but they're going to get tired of actually seeing you put the work in. And if it's a spouse, they may say something like, well, you don't show me no attention. You don't do X, Y, and Z. And then so that person may decide to go and entertain maybe some lower level guys who have all the time in the world. Because that person is intimidated by your drive, your work ethic. And the little wins that you have had in your life, I say little wins, but the big wins that you've had in your life, the closest people who's supposed to be there with you and have your back are the main people that's not happy that you're seeing the success. And they could have watched the entire process. And they know that the little bit of success you're starting to get, they know you deserve it. They just don't want you to have it. They just don't want you to have it. Because maybe, just maybe, if you get a little bit too much success, maybe you may realize that they're really not contributing anything to your life. In fact, they may be the reason why your success took as long as it did, or is taking longer than it did. And so when I see this young man who is a great athlete, comes from a great family, you know, he not from the streets, he not from the hood, he has both parents in his life, and he has a great dad, like a Hall of Famer dad. Who can say that? He has a Hall of Famer dad. And for the media and for the powers that be to clearly pass him up for lesser talented players says a lot. It says a lot. They want to dim this young man's light. But I like what he said, that he's putting it all in God's hands, right? He said, pretty sure he said several things, but that's the one thing that stood out to me, because I'm a believer of God. And, I'm a spiritual person. And I really believe that. I really believe that God will make your enemies your footstool, as He has done for me many times over in my life. And I believe that it's a protection mechanism, a spiritual protection mechanism for me, because it makes me feel like I don't have to fight all of these demons myself, because that's what it is. These are demonic forces sent your way. And I'm not trying to get all spiritual stuff, but I'm just saying, in this world, whether you're spiritual or not, you have good energy and you have bad energy. You have negative energy and you have positive energy, right? It's all part of the universal law, however you want to look at it, right? And you have to understand that. And you have to understand how to fight that energy off of you and away from you and overcome it. Because at a certain point in time, the enemy realizes that you are ordained to be great. And once they realize that they can do nothing else to stop you, then that's when you grow, and that's when you reach to the next level, and that's when they become your footstools. So I want to see this young man go as far as he can go and be, like Tupac says, against all odds. Anyway, to get my day started, man, y'all make it a productive one. I'm gonna get at you.